Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the stream. Today we are going to give away some catalysts. So there'll be a form to fill out if you want a catalyst to mint some assets. This is a good chance to get some. So we are giving away some on streams lately. So if you are tuning in, it's a good chance to get some catalysts for free. And today I might be looking at making, well, not making, but like exploring teams. So team setup, there's team checkpoints and messages that you can send to teams. So we're going to explore all that. I haven't done any of that yet. I do know how the team allocation is handled, but I don't know how any of the behaviors and components work with it. So we're going to explore around and see what's happening, and yeah, maybe we can learn something, maybe we don't. Who knows? We'll find out. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Welcome to the stream. We'll go ahead and get started. Create a 1x1 map, just call it team-based game. And we will see what settings we have to play with, and I'll let you know what I know, and then we'll play around and see if we can trigger messages and make a team-based sort of game and go from there. How's everyone doing? What's been happening? Hope you're all been well. Okay, we're loaded in, and I do like to save as soon as I create a new map. And I'll get that form in about 10 or so minutes, and I'll link the form in chat. So if you want a catalyst, a free catalyst for minting assets, I'll link the form in chat for you to fill out. I think it's guaranteed that you get one, up to 200 people, and then it gets divided up, I believe, if we don't get that many signing up. Not too sure exactly how it all works, but something like that. All right, so team-based behaviors and components and questions is basically what I've been asked a lot from all different sources for the last couple of weeks. And I haven't had time to play around with it because I've been making templates and doing an inspiring creation and all these other things in the background that requires me to be thinking of different logic for these projects. But I'm going to use the opportunity for this stream to do some R&D, some research and development, and we can see what we can do with team-based behaviors, or at least work out how they work. Once I work out how they work and what the limitations are, then I can put in a form to say what improvements are needed, and also think of ideas of what we can use the current settings for. So to set up teams, you do need to select your avatar portal. So when you select your avatar portal, you are introduced to like spawn point. I don't think you can get rid of that, can you? Well, I did, and it stayed there, so nope, it's a permanent spawn point behavior. You can add features. Most of them you can't, they're blocked, but the ones you can add look like it's visual effects, player sound, and light, which I think is not very good at this stage, and it's going to be improved in the future, because when you jump it just blows up all the light around it, which is kind of not a real useful thing, but it's a good start. We also have health, so you can click on that and play around with the health settings. Here you can adjust the health of the avatars when they join, the death delays, the message that kills them, and when they die they send a message if you do want that to happen. So there are some settings there as well. So what do we have here? We've got maximum capacity 20 players per experience. So now there's a hard limit of 20 per experience, so that's now been labeled and we know what that is. We've got assign team. So choose if the spawned avatars will be assigned a team. So we'll go ahead and click that as true. Now, from what I do know is you can create as many teams as you want. So you can say team red, and we can go team blue. Oh, whoops. Bit of a misclick. Team blue. And now you can see we've got team red, team blue. They're the two different teams that the player can join when they join the experience. So create or choose a team to be assigned to. Does that mean we can duplicate this? So this one's a spawn point and this one's a spawn point. Okay, so that means we can do team red for this spawn point and team blue for this spawn point. I think that's what it means. We can test that out later, and I will add blue blocks to represent team blue. And we can do a red. Maybe we can do a better blue color. They're all pretty ordinary so far. That's too bright. That's too dull. And this is glass. I think that's see-through. This one is as close as we're going to get, even though it's not a nice shade of blue, but it is what it is. And we could do a red team on this side. Something like this, okay? Now, it looks like we've got a spawn point for each of the teams. Team red and team blue. I did not know you could do this. I did not know this is how it works. So we're going to have to play around with it. But when a player loads into an experience, while they're loading into the experience, the code is assigning them a team. So they will spawn in either as team blue or team red. I believe it does a 1 blue, 1 red, 1 blue, 1 red kind of situation. If there's 2 blue and no red, I'm assuming the next person that loads in will be red. But we can probably do a group and see how that reacts together. And we can probably set up a mini game as well. All right, so there's 2 different teams now that the players will enter an experience as team blue or team red. We have 20 max per experience. You can see max players for these teams are 10. Now, if I create a new team, team yellow, let's duplicate this one. We'll bring it over here. And we allocate this as team yellow. I'm going to go ahead and put down a yellow block. Just to see how much, how the algorithm behaves. And I can block it off as well so you're stuck in that square so we can actually see who spawns where. And yeah. Oh, that's a horrible green. Let's try this one. Not much better, but it is what it is. Let's go duplicate this one and we'll make this one team green. And what's the minimum players? 3. So max amount of players that will be allowed to spawn in this spawner is 3. And then this one can be 10. This one can be, well, they're all 10. But the max we can have is 3. So 3, 6, 9, 12. So if we have 12 players, what happens to the rest? Because maximum amount of players will be allowed to spawn in this spawner. So if we had 12 players and we can have 20 max, what happens to the 13th player? That will be an interesting test. All right, another good thing here is we can assign tags. So we can say team blue. Excellent. We can say team red. We can say team yellow, and we can have team green. So I'm assuming now when we spawn in and you spawn in your color, there is also a tag attached to you. So we'll go ahead and test that out as well. And what we can do to test that is we'll put one of these down. And we'll have a little place you can just walk into. Actually, now I feel weird that I put that on top. I'm going to put them all on the side. Something like that. Let me go ahead and get some, I guess it's called Meta Dark. And just going to make the rest of the map dark so the colors stand out. I'll redraw those boxes later. It's easier to do this. And we're just going to create little nooks that players can walk into just for visual to see if a speaker detects the tag and then triggers something. So we'll go ahead and do different segments. We'll go ahead and save that. So already we've set up 4 teams, blue, red, green, and yellow. We've given them tags, and we're going to see if these tags can be detected by a speaker or even a volume trigger, anything that requires detection. So I'll go ahead and put down a numpad, and we can make the numpad, we'll make it multiplayer. And blue tag detected will be the message. It'll be up for 3 seconds. It won't look at the target. It will detect entity, and that entity will be specific tags in range, and that tag will be blue. And people that get spawned in with the blue tag should trigger that. Other players that are spawned in with the red, yellow, and green should not be able to trigger that. So that's one of the tests we want to do to see if we can actually get the blue team to trigger this and have the rest go there and nothing happens. So we want to detect that. All right, we'll go ahead and just create a smaller detection. So it requires the players to walk in that area. And you can be more specific. You can have a box, something like that. Then we can duplicate that with Control D, and we'll bring it down. And all we do here is say green tag detected, edit the logic, and turn this into green. We can duplicate that. Bring this over here. Say yellow. Yellow tag detected. And we'll go ahead and add a yellow tag. Just going to go ahead and make that a little bit higher. Excellent. And we'll go ahead and duplicate this one more time. And this one here is red. So we're going to have a red tag here. And basically, so when players join, you should be allocated one of these. You'll be spawned there randomly, and you should be able to trigger your speaker but not the other speakers. That's the first test that I want to do. And if this works, that means that avatars can be allocated a tag, individual tags. So you can have weapons that only attack other color teams except for your own color team. So I will set that up in the next test after this test is complete. What else do we have here? Override equipment. So allow players to select custom equipment. Nope. So you can force the players to have equipment that you built in this game or for the purpose of the game. If you tick that as true, that means people can come into your game with whatever equipment they have in their wallet. So if they've got this awesome sword with high strength or boots with fast speed, they'll be able to use it in your experience. So beware on how you want your game to handle equipment. Allow players to start with their own equipment. So that's the persistent equipment one. So blade, so we have a sword, we can say no, and we can do that for these as well. So no one has any weaponry. And then you can go ahead and add like shields, head, stuff like that. Spawn volume. Volume size 1. So does that mean, yes. So I'm guessing here you can have the avatar spawn either directly in this circle, so select the size of the area players can spawn in, or you can have like a big area. So if you want a player to respawn, but not in the exact same spot every time, but just maybe in the section of their map, this is what this is useful for. And obviously you can change it to box and things like that. And the default is 1. All right, I reckon we should do some tests with just this alone. So if you are on the Game Maker or want to help with the test, I'll link a link in chat, in the Twitch chat. And if you want to join in, let's see how the team function works and see if these individual tags work. If they do work, then we can start creating weaponry and games based on teams, and you can have weapons that injure the other team but not your teammates and things like that. So we'll go ahead and test that, and we'll generate a link. Okay, so I got some someone in chat giving some tips. So what did I say? Biverson says, if the spawn area extends beyond the edge of the map, the avatar spawns there, the endless fall begins. Okay, that's cool. All right, I'm going to link this in chat. And if you want to join in, let's see who spawns where and see if it's one at a time and see if the tags work for where you have spawned. So I'll go ahead and click play. I've clicked that link in chat and it should load up. There we go. Hey CC, how's it going? We're testing out teams. So team spawning, team tag allocation, and to see if the spawners, the speakers detect the individual tags allocated to the different players based on the team that they spawn. So if you do have time, click the link in chat and come and join and see if we can work out how the team function works, what the ins and outs are, and then we can work out what we got to work with. So I'm second to load in. So you can see the first player who loaded before me, Nervex, was blue. Now I'm red. Someone else loaded in with yellow. Fred and third. I can see the blue tag worked for the blue, but not for the green. So if I come over here, doesn't work for me, but it works for you. Perfect. Now if I go over to my red, I can see yellow works for yellow and red works for red. This is perfect. So this is exactly the way it should be. So if the next person loads in, they should load in as a green player And then if the fifth person loads in, see, there you go, CC is loading in. The fifth player should load in as a blue player. There we go. And then the next person that loads in will come in as a red player. Now what we should test is what happens if someone from yellow or green leaves and the next person loads in that was supposed to be red. Will it just give it to yellow or green by default? That's what we need to test next. And then we'll know what the cycle is for it. Okay, so Fred and Ferd left. If we have one more player join in, their position will answer the question. We'll see if we get someone else join in. Oh, there we go. No, we had someone join and they went straight to red. So it looks like sorry, the heater is hot. So it looks like the algorithm doesn't really determine the empty spots. It just does it in order. So it looked like it went from blue, red, yellow, green, blue, and even though yellow left, red spawned in, and yeah, okay. So that's how that one works. Now, I don't think we can change tags on players during the game. So that's a feature I have asked for. I would love to be able to remove tags and add new tags on existing players in an experience. There's plenty of uses for it, especially here reallocating a team member from red and blue for balancing purposes, that sort of thing. And even having Predator chase a tag like avatar, and then you can drop the avatar tag or some sort of tag that the predator's chasing, and then a predator stops chasing, stuff like that. All right, so now we understand that we can have 4 different teams. Each team gets their own tag, and those tags do indeed trigger speakers, and the other players cannot trigger them, which means that we can do damage and things like that, which is great. All right, let me exit. Thanks for joining, guys. That was a good, useful test. Okay, so let me now share the link for catalysts. Let me get that link. Perfect. So if you want a free catalyst to mint an asset, fill out this form. It's just been linked in Twitch chat. Fill that out and we will give you a catalyst. Awesome. All right. So I've got a little more clarity now on the team creation, the team aspect. So I did not know you can duplicate the portal and then allocate the team you want for that portal. Then you can allocate a tag to that team. Why is that team yellow but says red? Did I accidentally change that? Team yellow, yellow. Must have accidentally changed that. Green, green. Blue, blue. Red, red. Okay, cool. Okay. So now we know how the team works. Now we can add things to manipulate the teams in a nice way. So let's go ahead and put down some behaviors that make the teams work. So if we go to, say, checkpoint, here we can set a checkpoint message to send message to send broadcast type. So you can broadcast a type to team, and then here you can select team, and you can broadcast once. A message to send is say kill. Now if someone activates this checkpoint with a message, I don't know, checkpoint 1, so someone activates this checkpoint, maybe they use a volume trigger, so they run into a certain area. So let's say we'll make this a small box. It will detect all the avatars. When we enter this box, it will send a message checkpoint 1. It will send the broadcast to itself. So it will send a message to this checkpoint. Once this checkpoint is activated, it will send a message kill. It will be a team message, and it will send it to team red. So team red, if we go over here, we can go to health, and we have the message kill. You can give an individual message like kill red team. So we can send a message kill or kill red team. If we go over to our blue, you can see it's just kill. If we go over to our red, you can see it's kill red team. So you can individualize it that way as well. So if you don't want to select team, you can select none, you can say all, and just have here kill red team. So this will do the same as well. So this will send the message to anyone in a red team, and it will go ahead and kill them. So that's how that one works. Hey Jesus, Dan Coy, welcome. We're just exploring teams and team functions inside Game Maker. We just did a small test for red, blue, yellow, and green. You can allocate the team on each of the spawn points, and that's where they'll be spawned. They will be allocated a tag, and that tag can be used to trigger things that are team-based only. So that is for the checkpoint. If we go ahead and duplicate that, and we can get rid of this, get rid of that, and say teleport. It's teleport a component. I get mixed up. Teleport. All right, and we can do another one. So TP1 is the message required. Teleport destination, we can say TP red. So this is where the red will be TP'd. So we'll go ahead and select that as an asset. You can do instant teleportation, and then you can do group teleport. So go ahead and click that to be true. And that means teleports all players in a given area. Ooh. All right, what does that mean? Teleports all players in a given area. So there's the group teleport. Players within this area will get teleported. So if we send a message to this teleport, and we have, say, this area, I'm guessing something like this. So if a message TP1 is sent, we can send this as a different destination, doesn't have to be on top of it. Then it instantly teleports everyone that's inside of this square to the teleport destination. So we don't have to have this as a destination. You can have, let's just quickly do something over here. It doesn't even have to have a teleport. So here we can say red timed out, and we can put that over here. So the teleport destination is red timed out. So if there's red players in this square, or any player actually in this square, because we can't allocate tag or team here, but anyone that's in this square, when this message is sent, anybody that's in this square will be group teleported to over here. So it's a good way to teleport a group of people from one place to another. I don't know if you remember in the previous version of Game Maker, we tried to do group teleport and it wouldn't work. it only allowed one to be teleported at a time. I have done a stream or two on this trying to work it out. So it looks like they did make an update to the teleport function and allows a whole bunch of players to be teleported in the one go. The downside is it's using a teleport area to detect the players. I would like to see a tag instead or as an option. So that way, if I want team red to be teleported, it will just look for the tag red. And same with blue, green, and yellow. So if I want to reset a game or set everybody into their starting areas that are appropriate based on their team, it makes sense to have a tag rather than the group teleport based on area. Just some feedback to the devs if you are watching this. So what else do we have options for when it comes to teams or team teleporting? We got checkpoints, so we have team checkpoint, which is over here. So we have message to send. We got broadcast type is team. Do we have any other team messages? So we have here broadcast type is to team with volume trigger. So if we use a volume trigger, we can go ahead and duplicate this and just use a volume. So what you can do for this one, you can have something be detected in this box and then send a message to a team. So let me show you an example here. So we can go ahead and say specific tags in range. You can have something over here, and here we can have just like white blocks just to make it, I don't know, noticeable that there's a difference. So here we can have my really bad version of a goal system. So you can have a ball that you can kick. So specific tags can be ball. I'll actually bring out a ball as well because people like to make sports games like soccer and penalty kicks and things like that. So this may be a little bit useful. I'm just making this up as I go. But of course you can refine it and test things out on your own. So I'll give it a tag ball, and I'm going to apply collisions and gravity so I can kick that ball around. So with this thing here, we're going to detect if the tag ball enters this area. If it does, we can send a message health, and you can say minus 10 health, or you can minus 100 health if you want to kill the enemies. But if you want to have a game where it injures the players, you can send that enter message to a specific team. So if this is blue goal, you might want to injure the red team 20 health. So I can go ahead and say this is the blue goal. And on this side over here, we can do the same. My really quick version of a goal, because it's not about the art, it's just about the function. And we'll go ahead and duplicate this with Control D. And I'll go ahead and just give it some red top, so you know it's a red goal. And over here you can have the same thing. It detects the ball. If it detects the ball, instead of injuring the red team, it could injure the blue team. And what you can do is you can have multiple balls. They might be spawning in different locations, and then you can have ones that spawn in randomly or just fall from the sky. And then you'll have teams basically trying to kick these balls into their goal to injure and kill the enemy team, for instance. So yeah, we could do something like that. All right, let me tune in to the questions. Can we destroy the spawn point? I haven't tried it in the new version. I don't think you can. I think the spawn point, you can't add any behaviors and components to it. You could add a tag and maybe void it, That could be one way. I haven't checked that out. We could test that out actually. What we could do is let's eliminate the green tag. So we'll say green, what's it? Green portal. We have a green portal that has a tag green portal. We'll go ahead and give this a void behavior. And on the start, we want to destroy no blocks, and we only want to destroy from the list. And do we have avatar portal? So avatar portal is not in the list to destroy, so it may not work. But if we say destroy all, and we just make sure that's inside the square, and we put on multiplayer, let's see if it destroys this box when I test. I'm going to go ahead and save it. Couldn't. Change is going to be saved. Try again. I definitely broke it somewhere. So what, it didn't like that, I think. Let me remove collisions and try again. Okay, it's saved. Now let me tab in and see if the green portal disappears. Doesn't look like it. It kills me, but the portal is still there. So I don't think you can get rid of them after it's been created. You can delete them like that, but once it's in the game, it looks like it's quite solid, just from that test. And that is affecting completely inside of it. It's destroying all. Define how assets and behaviors. So yeah, it destroys all on start. It destroys the avatar when I walk in it. So it looks like the portal can't be altered. But that being said, can you parent it to something? That would be a question I want to know, because then there'll be a way to at least move it. So green portal, and we'll call this green portal, and we'll call this green portal holder, and I'll go ahead and type that in, and we'll put the portal onto the portal holder. And it doesn't look like you can parent the portals to anything either. As you can see, they've got a different symbol compared to the rest of the assets as well. So since we can't void it and we can't parent it, we can't put a helpful plant to it, it looks like it's stuck with it. So once you have defined your portals and it's there, once the game begins, that's it. Looks like you can't get rid of it. If you discover anything else that I haven't thought of, let me know. But that was just a quick analysis on that. Dankoy says, is it possible to redo the team matchmaking, or do they get the tag and keeping it permanently in game? So yes, that's how it looks like it works. The tag and spawn point is allocated during loading the experience, and it's done in order. So one red, one blue, one red, one yellow, one green. One blue, one red, one yellow, one green. And it cycles through as each person loads in. From the test we did, yellow left, and the next person I was meant to join will join red, and we wanted to see if they'll join yellow instead, but they ended up loading up in red. Now I don't know if that's because the player was already loading in before the yellow player left, so it could have been allocated before the yellow player left, but the theory so far is it's doing one at a time. And you cannot reallocate. You can't change a tag on a player once they've loaded into an experience. So whatever tags have been predefined beforehand, looks like it sticks that way. It would be nice to be able to change tags on players by adding and subtracting tags. Would be a fantastic feature. Biverson says, I tried to destroy spawn point by tagging with void. It enters an endless cycle of death. Okay, very good. Like the ants, spiral of death. Alright, let me see if we can kick these balls around. So the blue team is me. So if I kick this ball into the red area, I should get 10 damage. No? Okay. Maybe I set something wrong. Let me see if this one works. Ah, yes, it's this one. Alright. So I put it into the blue goal and it detected the ball and it injured me. Was I a red team? Because it says team red will take the 20 damage, and over here team blue should take the damage. So if I tab in, when I do a test, I spawn at a random one. So that was yellow, that was green, that's blue. So it looks like even when you test in an editor, it allocates one at a time. And it goes in order. So blue, red, yellow, green. So when I tab now, it'll put me on yellow. When I tab in again, it's going to put me on green. That's very interesting. So even testing in the editor puts you on the teams in order as if it was allocating that during a loading of the experience. So this one should injure the red team. And since I'm the blue team, that means this one here should injure me 20 damage as soon as the ball's going in there. Cool. These are very hard to kick around. Is that because of their because of how big they are? Does it matter? Does size matter when it comes to gravity? Let's find that out too. You guys probably already know if you played around with it. Here's a couple of different balls. We'll go ahead and give them gravity. Alright, so let's try to kick this. It's still quite heavy for the small ball. This one still feels heavy as well. Okay, still kind of feels weird, but they definitely are kickable. Okay, interesting. So I'll go ahead and remove these ones. So what have we done so far? We learned how to allocate different teams based on the different spawn points by selecting the team here and adding a tag. So that's good. We determined that messages can interact with individual teams based on their tag. So we can have deathmatch sports games, things like that. So that works. The checkpoints work, I believe. So if a checkpoint is triggered, you can kill a whole team. So that's a good thing too to use. We have the ability to mass teleport players to checkpoint areas, but they have to be based in a certain area, so you can't mass teleport based on tag. All right, what else can we see that might work? Active property. I don't think active property will have anything here. So nope, we don't want to worry about that one. Asker. I don't think Asker has any settings there either. Replace asset I don't think is relevant. What else is new? What about animated decoration? Here we have new broadcast types. Here we go. So we can broadcast here to team. So not too sure how this one would work. I'm guessing it's the message at the start and end of an animation. So you'll be able to send a message just to a team. But that team, here, let me edit logic. Here we go. Edit logic presents the actual extra field where you can select blue, green, red, yellow, that sort of thing. For all of you guys that just tuned in, here's a form to fill out if you want a free catalyst or two for minting assets. It's your chance to accumulate some catalysts for free. So do fill that in, and that will be airdropped to your account later on in the week, I believe. It's handled by someone else, so do fill that in. Free catalysts are always good, especially if you want to sell something or mint something as a giveaway. That'd be great. All right, so next, what else do we have? So animated decoration has the ability to send messages to teams based on the message at the start or message at the end being sent by the animation. Cool. What else do we have? Asset spawner. I don't think here is anything in particular. No, it's just message required. Nothing gets sent out, so this one's no good. Message broadcaster should have it. So we do. We have a team. So team can be sent a message, and again, it can be health. You can -1 health. And you can say broadcast forever, and the delays will be every 1 second also. So every second team blue can be taking 1 health damage, or you can duplicate that one and make it both team blue and team red are taking 1 damage each. You can make this into a game where you can increase the health that's been lost by a team by some actions in the middle of the game, where it's also healing and doing goals or things like that, or hitting checkpoints. So if you hit a checkpoint, you could add 1 extra damage taken to a team per second and have like a deathmatch game that way. So message broadcaster works there. I don't think post-processing works individually. I think here that affects everybody, so if you do trigger a post-process effect, the whole map will see it. I think a replace asset is like asset spawner. I don't think there's anything here that is team related. Timed events. So here we could do a team timed event. That's interesting as well. You can activate things that would only broadcast to the specific team. I don't know what sort of extra things you could do with that, because at the moment it's not tag based, it's team based, so it will affect everyone in a team the same. And the only thing you can do with the team at the moment is health and teleporting. Not too sure what else can be done there. I might need to think about it a bit more, but it's good to know that it's possible. Void, I don't think anything here is team based. I don't think Asker has anything either. Nope, it does not. Crowd event. One of the big features that I haven't really used all that much is crowd event. But here you got event target. This is everyone in range or everyone in the experience. There's no team based here, so you can make it range based or that everyone is affected the same in the experience. But broadcast type, looks like you got team here, and then you can select the team blue, green, red, yellow. So if there's a success message, you can send that. If it's a failed message, you could send that. So Good for teleporting. Again, if there's a fail message, you can send everyone within this range that's on team blue out of the area. So you can have like, what's it called, like a duel or a death match where 2 players play, and you can keep the whole ground covered in the circle, and whoever loses the failed message will teleport that team out of there and somewhere else. And you can do points for goals and things like that. Again, I don't use this much, and there's probably a lot more you could do with this, but it does have team broadcasting. It does have a point system. It does have a range system. So this one might be worth looking into. Team-based crowd events. So this one affects teams at the end when it broadcasts, successful and failed, but it doesn't look like you can have a crowd event based on a team only. So it would be nice to have event target team and then have like team blue, team red, team yellow. And that way it's not everyone and it's not the whole experience, but it's based on the tags or teams. So you can have a crowd event that only occurs for team blue, and they have to go and do something different compared to team red, green or yellow, because it's activated a crowd event just for that particular team. And then if they're successful, they can send a message to themselves which give them gold. Maybe you have a team-based variable where you have points and you can get points, or you can use it to minus points from all the other teams. But here you can only broadcast to the one team. So that one won't work, but what you could do here is you could say all. You can send a message if successful minus other teams score. So if you want it to affect, just say you're successful as a blue team and you want to affect a red, yellow and green team's score, like by minusing 50, you can do minus other team's score, duplicate with Control D, and you can say put a message broadcaster here, and you can wait for message minus other team's score, and then you can change this to team red, and you can do like minus 100 points, and you send that to the rule system, and then red team will lose 100 points. You can duplicate that with Control D, and then you change that to green, and you Control D, and then you can change that to yellow. So when blue is successful in a crowd event, it will send a message to these 3 broadcasters, which will then minus 100 points from yellow, green and red, because they're going to individual message broadcasters. So that's one way you can do it, even though there is only a limitation of one team that can receive the message. You can just change that to all and affect the teams using message broadcasters. That's one way to do it. But again, it would be nice to have an event target that is based on the team, not just everyone in range and experience. So that's another thing that you could probably suggest to the devs to look into. All right, what else do we have? Bird, I don't think there's anything to add here. Nope, it's just a thing. What else do we have? We have crowd event, door, multi. I don't think multi has anything either. Weather system affects everyone. That doesn't have a team-based message. Alright, so let's go into the higher performing things. Advanced platforms. Advanced platforms, you can send a message based on team or self or anything like that, but we've got team here. And the messages get sent when reaching the end of their destination. So message to send when the platform arrives to this point. So you might want the platform to move one block, and a platform speed is 1. that will take 1 second to go there, and then it will take 1 second to go back. So every second you can send a message, just like using a message broadcaster on arrival. You could even do it 0.1, so that will take 10 seconds before it gets to the end, and then it will send a message. You can loop that so it keeps going back and forth, and you can have time between laps, so if you want like a second gap. I don't know if it does decimals here. It looks like it does. So yeah, you can have gaps in between as well. But arriving at the destination is a message that can be sent again to teams. The only benefit for that is just timed event, and I don't think it is I don't think it's wise to use a heavy processing behavior like advanced platform for the base of time. What else do we have? Audio streaming. I don't know if that's a normal function. That might be an admin function. But that's not really something I've just looked into, and I think that's partners only. Projectile. Oh, and we got MP spawn point. Is this spawn point the same as here? It is. It is. So it's the same as the other spawn points. So I'll go ahead and get rid of that. It's added a health component. Get rid of that as well. Projectile. Alright, projectile is a good one. You can be shooting things at people, and this is where you say message on collision, and you can say health, and then say health minus 50. So if you want to shoot people and they lose health when it collides with them, this is the way to do it. You can make it more straight and have something that shoots straight ahead, and just need that to be 0. And you can see that does a straight line pretty much and shoots straight. We can get rid of the gravity, and it definitely goes straight. And then what we can do here is broadcast type. You can do team, and when it collides, collision target, you can do team. So here you got different teams that this projectile can hit, and when it does hit, let me just edit the logic again. Collision target, team, and you can affect a whole team and have a whole team lose health based on their damage. You can also do collided actors. This is the one I like to use, so whoever the projectile hits will lose the point, and it can only hit targets from the green team. So if you have 4 teams here that are like red, yellow, green, blue, this one will only affect the green team. So it would be nice also to have a feature where you're not just allocating one team, because you might want to be a blue team that can hit all the other teams. So what you want here as an update is have a team that it doesn't injure. So you can have here collision target team, and a team that it can collide with can be green team, or you can have team that it doesn't collide with is the blue team, which means that every other team can be hit. Something like that. So that way we can have 4 teams where the one weapon will recognize friendly fire and then recognize the other 3 teams need to be destroyed. But it doesn't look like we could separate those under the one. Yeah, I don't think that will work too well. But if you're doing a red versus blue team where it's one-on-one, then this works really well. But anything more than 2 teams, it's a bit hard to say this gun only affects 1 team. Hey Pickaxe Master, welcome to the stream. We're just discussing team-based games, team-based portals, allocating team messages, how they affect it, what behaviors affect teams. And we did a test before spawning in, so we know how team allocation works when the players load in, and we know that there are given individual tags for each individual team, which affect different speakers based on the tag detection. So we know all of that works, which means that we can kick goals, red and blue goals in soccer. And if you score a goal on a red team, you can make blue team lose health, and vice versa. You kick a ball in the blue team goal, you can make all of the red team lose health. So you can have like a sporadic game where balls keep falling in the court. The teams keep trying to chase the ball down, kick it in their goal to lose health for the other team, and the first team to die loses. And you can probably have things around the board as well which give health. So some players can recuperate individual health. So if you don't heal up and you keep losing goals, some players will die, some will remain until that's last person standing. Things like that would be an interesting concept. All right, what else do we have? I think that's all of it in the behaviors. So let's go down to the components. Now we already did avatar teleport. I don't think button has anything here. Okay, it does. It's like a message broadcaster, so you can push a button to affect the team, just like any other messaging system. Climbable is nothing. There's no settings to change. Collectible, this one might be cool. So again, instead of kicking goals into balls into goals to injure the enemy team, you can have collectibles. So you can have a coin. When you collect it, you can again minus as much health as you want, and then you can broadcast to a team, and it can be the opposite team. So you could have red coins and blue coins, and when you collect your coin for your team, you can make the other team lose health. So that's another thing you can do. Have collectibles drop in, and collecting your the right collectible will injure your team. Heal your team or injure the other team. So collectibles is another good one because it's more interactive, and it's something to chase and collide with, which then has an instant effect. It doesn't have to be health. So we do have speed as well. So if you want to lower the enemy's speed, you can do that, and you can do it between 5 seconds or 2 minutes. So you can have collectibles that fall from the sky. The first person to collect it will send a message to -30 speed to a team. You might have to individually code the collectible so you don't injure your own team, but that's something that you can do as well. Okay, Biverson says if we add teams tags with specific tags in the collision target option for projectile, it will affect all teams. If we add teams tags with specific tags, okay, that's a good one. So if we go back over to our projectile, we'll go back to edit logic. So collision target would be what? Specific tags, and then here you can add, I see, red, blue. Now that makes sense. This works. Green. Okay, so we don't need that other thing I was thinking of before, because this one pretty much solves that issue. So thanks for that one. So if you're a yellow team, you can have guns that are yellow, and when you shoot other players that are red, blue, or green, they will take health loss. But if you shoot anyone that's on your team, which is yellow, they won't take any damage. You can make it injure the whole team, or you can just do collided actors, which is what I prefer. Nice one. Good catch. Thanks for that. All right, so that's that one. I don't think defeat. Oh, we got team defeat. Defines if a defeat applies to one or all players. Now it's only given us team defeat. No extra options. No real description on how that works. How do you know what team gets this message? Does this apply to victory as well? Victory, we got group victory. So the other one says team defeat. This one says group victory. Should be team victory. Maybe. Defines if experience is cooperative or competitive. Delays before it is triggered. Okay. A little confusing there. I might need to get some clarity from the devs on that one. Drop components. So no team on this one, I believe. What's that? I don't know if there's a difference here, but that's interesting. No message sent, so that's fine. Indicator, there's no messages sent there. NFT sensor. Here we go. Team and team red. Interesting. So you can have a NFT sensor set up. So if one of your team members has a specific NFT, you can send a message to be successful and then teleport the whole team to a certain area, or let a team in or do something. So you can have an NFT sensor trigger something for a whole team, which is interesting. Do encourage you to use NFT sensor in your experience for anything possible. Using this feature will be vital in the future, especially in the next Builders Challenge. It will be something we'll be looking for as well, to see who's using this effectively. So if you have good ideas for this, I would love to hear them. I've been using it for like extra functions and abilities in games. But again, it has a team broadcast function, which is an interesting concept. More to think about later. Plant is just a simple plant. You can't plant a team. Power up. Alright, so power ups we can. So we can modify attacks, health, oxygen, speed to a specific team. Just like other things, they're collectible items. So you can do it the same thing here with collectible or power up. Here you got interact or collision. I don't know if there's a real difference between collectible and power up. Maybe. Global on relevant in multiplayer experiences. True if one experience. False if you play it. Okay. Not too sure what that means. Okay. Interesting. So we do have team functions here for power-ups. Rarity has nothing there to send. Slide is just like climbable. There's nothing to alter. Speaker would be like message broadcaster, so you'll be able to send to a team using, again, detection or message. Exactly the same as using a message broadcaster or a volume trigger. What else do we have? Switch. Yes, Switch, I showed a good example on how to use this for a combination type game. There's not much use cases for this that I can think of, but I found a good one for the rule system and combinations. I do check a previous stream for that one. That's as good as I can get on this component. It's meant to replace the door, so no doors needed. You can just use switch instead. The difference is the door, you can send a message on open, a message on close, where this is kind of It's kind of similar in a way, yeah, because you can send a message on A and B, and the state won't change until the message is switched. So kind of the same thing. Let me go into toggle. Toggle only receives, that doesn't send message. Trigger volume we checked earlier. Victory we've already looked for. Light, I don't think there's anything that sends to team on light. Nope. Okay. Play sound. Now there's an interesting play sound function where you can attach it to the player, and it's sort of like a thing to make the player carry it and can't drop it based on play sound and interact message. There's a tutorial on that somewhere. I think Dan Coy did one as well. But yep, there's stuff here, and then you can broadcast to a team after a sound is played. Since it can be used as a collectible, a pickable that always sticks to the avatar, there might be some sort of function with sending a message to a team or injuring people around or injuring the team based on this. I haven't played around with that sort of combination before, but that's something to think about. And there's another thing here you can send to a team from the play sound. Visual effects. Here I don't think you can send a message after visual effects is played. Okay, now we've got the high impact performance. Checkpoint we've already checked out. Health, I guess you can kill a monster or a boss, which then can weaken a team. So you could have something that needs destroying. The blue team needs to destroy it while the red team needs to do something else. When the blue team kills it, it can send a message to injure the red team or make obstacles pop up or set up traps, things like that. So using a health component to send out team messages is useful for killing quests, which is quite good. Nevik says you can attach visual effects to starting portal. Would that work to identify teams by colored VFX? So what you can do here is you can put on a colored shield. So you can create a color shield to the team and apply it here. And then everyone on, say, the blue team will be wearing a blue shield. And then you can go onto the red team and give them a red shield, or even chest, legs, arms, everything. And that gives them a visual representation of their color. I think you can add a light as well, or visual effects. And here you can change a visual effects to have like a trail or a glow. And you can change like the color of that glow, or something of that sort, so that way they always have a color associated to the team. So there's a couple of ways to identify players. I would like to use a equipment, because equipment is probably less resource heavy, and I don't know if they can just take off the equipment once they load in. It would be nice to have an equipment lock, so players can't just take off equipment, and you can force equipment on them and change it, and that would be very beneficial as well. But yeah, light as well. I think here you can set a light and make it red, and then when players are playing, they'll have a light function. Let's see if I can actually check that out. Okay, so when I jump around, there's a red light. As you can see, it's not very good because you can't really see it until the player jumps, and then it's just overblown. So we don't have the function to use lights very effectively at this stage. It's not a recommended thing right now. I'm sure it will be improved in the future. But you can see the VFX, the stunned one, is following me around. So you can definitely find a visual effects that sticks to the player that you can color code, and then there'll be some sort of glow effect that will let everyone know what team they're on. So there's definitely some things you can use there to separate that visually. Okay, carrying on. I think we're near the end. Let me just see here. NFT details, no. Pickable, no. Raycast. All right, so these are the last two. Pickable, so when you pick up something, you can send a message to a team. And when you drop something, you can send a message to a team as well. So maybe for this one, if you pick something up, you get points and you can start ticking points, and when you drop it, you could lose points or the points stop ticking. So here you can have something like capture the flag or king of the hill, or where a player is holding onto something and running around, and the longer they hold onto it, the more points they get. So you can have a message on pickup be activate points 1. And what we can do here is duplicate, and then you have a message broadcaster with a toggle, and you have the toggle as off, and you use the message activate points 1 to toggle it on, and it will toggle on forever and do 1 point to the system. And you can do a message argument. We're going to add a number and we'll say points. Click create. So now we created a message argument points. We can do 1, and every second it will send a message points when this is activated. We can go ahead and give it something more visually easy to see. So we'll have a pickable. Message on pickup will be this message that we've done, activate points 1. So we'll go ahead and do that. Activate points 1, which will turn on this message broadcast. And then you just go to the rule system, and here you can do math. And here you can say points. We're going to use the message argument, and the points we're going to give is the message argument points, which is what we had in the message broadcaster, and we're going to add it to the variable. Now we need to add a variable, which is points, and that's what we'll be selecting, and the result will be points. And then we just need a rule to see the HUD, and we just say HUD, and at the top we want to see points, and we just need something now. Yes, so this is a good one. In the rules we have a new comparison that says no, where is it? Here, trigger and events. So on player join, you want to put this down, and what you can do here is you can have the message HUD. So as soon as the player joins, it will send a message HUD, which will then turn on the HUD that you want them to see. So you don't need to have anything in the game maker like a speaker or a volume. You can just have this rule, which then turns on the HUD for the player. So if we go ahead and press tab to test, you can see, you can see the HUD has turned into points up the top, and then when we press E, we're picking up the ball, and you can see the points are starting to go up. And you can send a message that when you drop it, will pause those points. So all you do there is send a message to say message on drop, turn off points, and you put it on the toggle here to turn off the message broadcaster. We can go ahead and check that again. Oh, there's a ball flying through the air. Let's catch it. Do a header bro. Yeah. Now we've caught it, and now our points are going up. And I believe you can steal this off other players. So even though they're picking it up, if another team comes up and presses E on it, I think you can take it off them. Or if you have guns, you can shoot at the player to get them to drop it. So when you drop it, the points are still ticking. That's no good. Let's see what's going on here. So we've got everyone in range. That needs to be sent to all, so it reaches. So let me go ahead and do one more test. So we pick it up. Our points is ticking, and when we drop it, our points stop. And we can keep doing that. And you can cleverly manipulate it so different teams that hold the ball are accumulating points for their own team. So that way you can have like a chasing game, a killing game, where you have to try to hold the object as long as possible, or stand on a point as long as possible. You can have people that will kill you with projectiles to kill you and take over the point themselves to accumulate points, like King of the Hill. And that way you got something that's interesting. I don't know, I find it a bit more interesting gameplay. And the last thing we want to check is raycasting. So again, I haven't played much with raycasting, but it's a straightforward thing that you can just activate something that's seen that straight line. And what you can do here is message on hit. So when you hit something in that line that's relevant, you can send a message to a team or to self. And again, you can do quite a few things here as well. Check only hit first. So if you want to only hit one object, that's the way to do it. And a collision can be a specific team based on their tag, as we discovered earlier. But I think that's all for today, guys. I got a meeting in a couple of minutes, so that's the end of this session. But we did discover a lot about teams. I know how it works now. I know that there's tags attached. I know we can target a few things. I know there's a little bit of gameplay we can create with this now. So hopefully it's inspired you with some ideas, and that way you can make games that are a bit more interesting, team-based, and now you know what you can do with it. So show me what you got. I want to see what you got. But have a good one. Take care, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye.